Here's what we're making today, guys. The Kaplan by Simply Classic. It's a brand new pattern. This happened to be her subscription box for the first quarter of 2025. So all the materials were included. It is so cute. A really unique slip pocket on the back, a twist lock on the front with the little strap, a zipper pocket on the inside, slip pockets, and her standard key fob. And the lining just fits beautifully. Well done, Chris. Go get the pattern. Let's get started. Hi everybody, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs, and I'm getting ready to do a brand new pattern by Simply Classic. It's called the Kaplan. It is a very interesting shape and style. It's a fairly slim bag, 10.75 wide by 10 high by 3.5 deep. She calls it an intermediate skill level. But it's got this interesting flap with a twist lock. I really like it. So, this was her quarterly subscription box for the first quarter of 2025, I believe. So she sends you all the materials, and so this is what we're making it out of. This is the flap. Very unique, and I have interfacing on the back. I use Lux Fuse. So 2 flaps, and then the brown is the sides. Very nice faux. So that's what we're going to use, and for the lining she sent, I think this is her Tilda. I have never seen it before. It's very nice. Another fabric that I think I might have to have. I'll go over each piece as we make the bag. I think I'm really going to like it. I'm looking forward to making it. And she sends all the hardware. Let's see. She sends all the hardware in a nice little packet. Let's see. My guess is she sent antique brass. So here's a zipper pull, the twist lock, the 1/2-inch D-ring for a swivel clasp for her key fob, a swivel clasp, and 2 square rings. She has you attach the handle instead of with swivel clasps, which is fine. So we'll do that. So let's get started. I think the first thing I'm going to do is the strap. I have it all folded, and so we're going to do that to start with. All right, let's get started. All right, so I'm going to do my 2 strap anchors. I have 2 of them. I put a little piece of Lux Fuse down the center. Is that necessary? Probably not, but, and I've never, believe it or not, had a anchor tear, but I heard, I think it was Kasaya, saying she's heard of 2 people that have had their anchors tear recently. So I'm just anchoring it up with a piece of Lux Fuse down the center. And I'm using my seam guide. Believe it or not, I never used to use this seam guide. But I have now. I love it. It's a Sailrite seam guide. It came with my machine, but I believe you can buy them. Okay, so 2 of those, and then my strap. Now this vinyl is a tad bit stretchy, so I'm gonna see how we do. I have a stitch length of 5. It's a 4-inch piece. I fold it into the center and then I fold it again. And then I am going to put strap ends on, but I'm going to wait till I get it on the bag. Unless I try it and see if it will go through the square ring she sent. Let me try that. I'd rather put it on now. Let me see. They might. Let's see. Oh yeah, good. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is find where my strap went. It fell on the floor behind my machine. Okay. All right. This little grabber thing is the best thing since sliced bread. So look how nice that seam guide keeps your straight lines. I just love it. All right, then I'm just going to even up my ends ever so slightly. Hardly needs it. Okay. Then I'm going to choose the best side, which there really is not a right or wrong. So I'm going to put my strap ends on. So much nicer. She didn't send those. I decided I wanted to do those. So now we're going to add our swivel up and through. Actually, how does she do that? Let me just see something real quick. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to add my strap end on this end. Let me make sure I get it on the right side. Because she doesn't use swivel clasps. So I'm just trying to figure out how she's going to do this. Yeah, okay. Perfect. All right, let me check. All right, so next we're going to do our strap connectors. So put a piece of tape on each end, measure up from one short end, what she tells you to in the pattern. Make sure you put your little connector on the inside. And we're gonna fold those both down to meet that line. After you put your connector on. So that's what you have. There's the wrong side and here's the right side. I am going to add another little piece of tape here on the wrong side so I can get it to stay where I want it when I'm ready to put it on, which will be here in just a second. She gives you this measurement in the pattern. It's pretty standard measurement. Okay. All right, so there you have that. Now, grab your two pieces, your two side pieces. Let me see what she tells us to. Hold on. Okay. So take your strap connector and measure down from this top piece, what she tells you to in the pattern, to the top of the square ring. And just center that on, just like that. Grab your other one. Oh, it was right underneath it. There it is, right here. And we're going to attach our other one as well. All right, now we are going to do a small box here, and I'm going to grab my Jolie Lee box template. So the nice thing about these templates that Jolie Lee has, Leslie at Jolie Lee, is she has 2 inch, 1.5, 1 1/4, 1 inch, and then 3/4. It's very nice. Very, very nice. So I'm using the 1 inch. And I am going to draw that on my piece. Oh my gosh. Can you say game changer? It's perfect. Because if you watched me for any length of time, you know, I do not like to draw. I don't like to do squares because they never look good. So we'll see how this does. I'm guessing it's perfect. Now we're going to draw a box on here and here, and then we're going to put a ribbit. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. This is going to be perfect. I am going to back stitch. Oh my gosh, you guys. So if you don't have her templates, I highly suggest that you get them if you have any trouble with squares. So there's what it looks like on the back, and there's what it looks like on the front. Now, my machine, I oiled and changed the oil in my machine. So my machine was like happy It's spewing oil. Let me grab one of these. And then just get that leather marking pen off of there. You don't want to leave that on there. Okay, let's do this one. Wow. Thank you, Leslie. These are perfect in every way. Okay, now let's add a rivet. Right here. Right there. And right there. I'm not afraid of boxes anymore, thanks to my friend Leslie. And if you didn't watch it, she was here live on Monday the 21st. Go watch that. Okay, let's add a rivet. I had some rivets. Hold on. All right, so there's my two sides with two rivets in the little square. It's perfect. Okay. Set this aside, and now we're going to take our outside pocket accent piece and put a piece of tape down one long side, and we're going to fold that wrong sides together as straight as you can. And then we're going to stitch just above that folded line on the raw edge side. Eighth of an inch. Okay. So just like that. Now we are going to attach it to the shorter side of one of our exterior pocket pieces. I think this is the right side. Let me just check. Yeah. And we're going to sew that together. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I should have actually sewn that together first. So do another 1/8 inch. Don't know what I was thinking. Just go over that stitch that you just did if you did what I did. Okay. Now we're going to fold that over and top stitch right along that folded edge right there. Beautiful. On the fabric, not on the accent. So that's what you should have. Next step. All right. So take your back piece, front piece, whatever you decide to make it. Take your piece here, and I added a double piece of double-side tape just below the hole, my zipper. Actually, it's not a zipper hole, but it's a slip pocket hole. And we want to add this where we're just covering those top stitching, but we can also easily get in and out of our slip pocket. You don't want to have to really force it. You want to be able to get in and out, and that you have enough extra on each side. And now we're going to stitch across the bottom, and we're going to start and stop about an 1/8 inch, and I just mark it. And we are not back stitching. Okay. Just across the bottom and stop where you marked it. Do not back stitch. We'll pull those threads to the back. Okay, pull those threads to the back. And tie those off. On both sides. Okay, so that's what you have. Nice. Just going to get rid of my little dot there. Now, so keep in mind, this is the right side of my pocket, so make sure you put it on there correctly, because now we are going to add our other side of our pocket, and I'm just going to put a little piece of double-sided tape on the top of my hole. So right there. And we're going to add the other side of our pocket face down just above that hole on our tape. Okay. So now once we stitch it, you're going to have a finished pocket. Now we're going to start where we stopped, up, over, and stop where we started back down here. And I am going to pull those threads to the back as well. I love these kind of slip pockets, really. I'm going to come one more tiny stitch. There we go. And then stop where you started on the bottom one. Okay. And pull those threads to the back and tie them off. It just looks very nice. Okay, and burn those threads. Perfect. So if you look in here, you have a finished pocket. I love it. Okay, now we are going to finish this pocket off. Let me check just a second. Okay, turn it over, and if you have any of your underneath hanging over, just trim that off. And then we're going to turn it right side up, and we're going to stitch the sides and the bottom closed. Okay, if you have any extra, which I do on this side, I'm just going to trim that off. And then I have a little extra on the bottom. I'm going to trim that off. Okay. So I can see that I didn't get that very good, so I'm just going to do another row of stitches after I put a new bobbin in. All right, for this next step, take your piece, and this is the bottom, by the way. So the piece is like this, and your two side pieces. She tells you to put snips all the way on this curved edge on both sides. Be mindful, half of your seam allowance. It's not that big, okay? And we are going to start on the bottom, clipping it in place. This is probably what makes this bag an intermediate bag, these particular curves. They're not hard, but if you've not done curves like this before, they can be intimidating, but they really aren't hard. You just, like anything, you have to take your time. Now, this does not come all the way to the top, so don't be intimidated by that. It doesn't come all the way to the top. There's a little extra. And we are gonna sew from the bottom, and I'm gonna change my needle, my foot. Okay. Let's see, I haven't used this foot in so long, it's kind of funny. So let's sew it at 1/4 of an inch. The nice thing about this foot, as opposed to my zipper foot, it's got grippers on the bottom. So it keeps things in place. I'm sure before you know it, I'll go back to my old one, but my zipper foot, but for now, this is good. I took my clips off too soon. It's okay. Okay. Now we're going to turn that and top stitch. Look how nice that looks, though. My gosh. It really looks good. And start just about 1/8 of an inch from your top here. Okay, don't go all the way to the top. And you're top stitching on, oh, we're top stitching on the middle piece, or this piece. Yeah, let me take that out. I think I can make it look okay. You should top on the, top stitch on the side piece, not the middle piece. Yeah. Let me make sure that's right. Yes. So the seam is going towards the side piece, which it doesn't want to do. I'm just telling you. Okay, let's try that again. And just go slow until you get it started and it stays put. Okay. So this is what you have. Wouldn't that look good? Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Now we're going to repeat that on this other side. Okay. It's not hard. It's just something, if you have never done it before, these curves, then it'll take you maybe a little practice. You could practice something like this. Make a similar curve and just practice it if you've not done it before. It's really not hard. I think you will be just fine. Okay, let's do it. Getting it started is probably the hardest part. right, and same thing, turn it over. And top stitch on the side, starting 1/8 of an inch from the top. Very nice. Very nice. Let me go see where I want to put my tag. Hold on. All right, so she tells us to go ahead and attach our the lock portion of our twist lock. She gives you a measurement to measure down from the top. And I'm going to go ahead and make my holes. And I am adding an extra piece of Decaville Heavy. Twist locks, you know, they get a lot of use. And I'm just gonna be extra careful and add an extra piece. Okay. And then I am also adding a piece of fleece to cover that, just to protect my lining. This is a scrap of self-adhesive fleece from Fabric Therapy. I just ordered a whole roll. I absolutely love that stuff. It's expensive, but it is so worth it, guys. You know, sometimes there are things that are expensive, but they pay for themselves in quality and ease of use. Just saying. Okay. Perfect. Nice and secure. Love it. Next step. All right, so now we're ready to put our back on. So I am going to start at the bottom. I think I'm going to start on this side. Just making sure I'm on the bottom. Oh, clip your pocket out of the way so you don't catch that. Now, top stitching is going to be top stitching in the ditch here. So I'm going to pull this pocket out of the way. So this is probably, this part right here top stitching this side is probably the hardest part because you're going to be in the ditch. Because you got a tube here. And you're wanting to get that seam underneath there. And just take your time. It's not, like I said, it's really not hard. It's just awkward. Okay, we're almost there. Okay. Let's see how we did. Pretty good. Yeah. All right, next step. All right, so take your bottom, mark your centers on your short end and your long end. I clipped these, but you can't really see it, so I'm just gonna mark them. And then on your bottom, match your seams and find your centers on the front, the back, and the sides. So for me, this is the side where my connectors are, and this is obviously the front where my tag and my block is. So on the front, we're going to take our bottom and put them right sides together and clip them in place. On the bottom, mark where she tells you to in the pattern on all four corners, because we're not going to sew all the way to the end. We're going to stop what she tells you to in the pattern. Very important. And this is a little different seam allowance, just FYI. Okay. So start and stop where that marking is. Okay. And when you get to the other side, stop at that marking. And back stitch. Okay. And then we're going to attach it to the other side and do the exact same thing. Then we'll be doing the sides. Okay. Start at that mark. I have very slippery fabric here. Doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Very slippery. And then stop at your marking and back stitch. Perfect. Okay, and then you should be able to trim. You need to cut into your let me okay. Check. So where your stitches end, you're gonna snip into your main body piece just to your stitches. Don't clip your stitches on all 4 sides. I know it's scary a little bit. Then you'll be able to box your corners here and match your centers. It's just a beautiful thing. I got stuff falling on the floor. Okay. Now we're going to stitch across that at the seam allowance in the pattern. Back stitch well. Perfect. Let's do that on the other side. Okay. Now, I don't know if she wants us to trim it. Yeah, she does. She wants you to trim it just a little, by about half. Okay, let's turn it right side out, see how we did. Oh my, that looks good. Punch your corners out. They look great. Huh. I'm always amazed. There's a little thread hanging there. Looks good. This is not a big bag. It's kind of a schmedium. Yeah. Wow. I didn't measure my center there. I'm going to have to even my top up too. Just a little. Okay. Looks good. All right. So take your flap keeper, put a line down the long side. We're going to fold that in. And we're going to do 2 rows of stitching, 1 1/8 and 1 1/4. On both sides. Okay. My bobbin is acting weird. I might have to change it. Okay, just like that. Then take your flap and put that wrong sides together. I mean right sides together, sorry. And we're gonna stitch down each long side at the seam allowance in the pattern. And just FYI, the seam allowance is not next to the stabilizer because we're gonna have to turn this out. So we don't want to go over that stabilizer. Okay, so down each long side, seam allowance in the pattern. I'm going to change my bobbin. All right, let's sew down each long side at the seam allowance in the pattern. Back stitch well at this top short edge. Let's put a new bottom in. That way I can just finish the bag. All right, let's do this other side. Okay, now on this folded edge, you want to trim these corners. Don't obviously trim your stitching, but we want those to be nice and even when we get this turned. So this, honestly, this is probably the worst part of the entire bag for me, is turning this type of a corner. Or a flap. It's always a challenge, I think. You're just going to have to do the best you can, and I will do it on fast forward. And then she suggests putting a ruler in there. We'll see. Oh my. That worked perfectly. Did you see that? That's perfect. Then you're going to want to poke out your corners. Just be careful. Perfect. All right. So I turn that, and she says measure down from this folded edge up and make a mark. And that's where we're going to start and stop our top stitching. 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And don't back stitch. We'll pull those to the back side. Come across the bottom. And stop at that mark. Gotta find my mark. Okay, oops. And pull those to the back or the front, whatever is looks the best. Both mine look just fine, so. And tie that off. perfect. So that's what you should have. Now, on your flap, that I have stabilizer on the front and the back of mine. So, but she tells you to measure down from the center mark and make a dot. And then from that center mark, measure out a certain distance and cut some slits. This is where we're going to add our, and you know what, before I do anything else, let me get the mark off of here, and let me get that mark off. I don't think I need it. Okay, hold on. Okay. So the other thing she suggests is if you want to edge paint just this outer edge, that's what's going to potentially be seen. And you can see that I didn't edge paint, but I used this Premium Soul marker just to cover the Decaville because, and the wrong side of the vinyl is white. Not a big deal. You could edge paint if you wanted to. And then we're going to stick our keeper in both slits. You want it to be snug. You don't want it to be too tight, but you want it to be snug. And she says you should have about 1 inch hanging out on each side. And then, I gotta clean that up. Don't want any permanent marking on my table. Okay. And then you want just a hair of distance there because this is going to go here just like this. It's not something that you're going to be taking in and out, so it doesn't really have to be much. You just don't want it to be too snug. And now we're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch from these slits on both sides and pull those threads to the back. All right, so I'm going to add 2 rivets, and I have some small dome rivets. They're 7 millimeters, and I'm going to put 2 on each side. Excuse me. Okay, that turned out really good. I can't believe, I don't know if you saw how long it took me to find, some of them just didn't match and wouldn't go on. It was the weirdest thing. So that looks really good. Now we're going to put these right sides together and do the seam allowance in the pattern. All right, let's top stitch it closed. how nice that is. Next step. All right, so now center your flap. I don't think that's centered. Let me make sure. Okay. It does make a difference, so you just want to make sure it's nice and centered. Then we are going to stitch where we stopped. Here, up and over and down. Okay. So you're gonna start where you stopped stitching, right there. And we'll pull that to the back. And then stop in the same hole. Let me see. There we go. And tie those off. Then we're going to add our other part of our thumb lock or our twist lock. Oh my gosh, perfect. Now let's add our twist lock. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and insert the other part of my twist lock. Okay. Almost got it. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Take your time on this part because you want to make sure that it's centered and it looks good. So now I'm just going to get my spot for my holes. Let's see if that worked. Perfect. Okay. Gonna put that on, and then I am gonna just put a tiniest dab of Loctite. Okay. And I have my little screws over here on my magnet. Okay. I'm gonna clean up my Loctite. This stuff is so messy, I will say. Okay. Perfect. Now, because there's a little white in there, I'm gonna just put the black on so you can't really see it. Perfect. Okay. Nice. All right. Let me clean up and then we'll continue. All right, so now we're going to attach. So this is our front and this is our back. We're going to attach our flap right sides together with our back. And we're going to stitch that with the seam allowance in the pattern. You're basically just basting it in place. All right, so the next step is to add our lining overlay. So we're going to add the overlay and we're going to stitch around the outside. I'll pull those threads to the back. Down from the center, what she tells you to in the pattern. And I'm going to pull that thread to the back. Let's just do it now. And stop where we started. Hold on to your threads. And pull that one to the back. If you can get it. There we go. Tie those off. I find it so much easier to even my threads up. That way some aren't longer than the other. It just is a nightmare if you don't. Just saying. It's very helpful. There we go. Okay. Trim those and burn them. Perfect. Okay. Cut the center out. Don't cut your overlay. That's what it looks like. Perfect. Now let's do our zipper pocket. Right side up. I do have my iron hot, so I'm just gonna turn around and iron this. Let's repeat that with this other side. Okay, let me go iron that and we'll put our zipper pull on. All right, let's add our zipper pocket to our overlay, our lining. Let's do it. There we go. And I'm going to use my zipper jig. Let me pull this out. I don't want it to come off though, if I can help it. This zipper jig thing is just fabulous. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. I'm just going to pull my zipper in. Okay. Now let's stitch around the inside. Oh my goodness, this thing got very askew. There we go. Better. Okay. Let's sew around the inside. And come back down. I think I'll pull that thread to the back. There we go. Okay. And stop where you started. Pull those threads, hold on to it, and pull it to the back. I don't know why that one's so far down there. That's weird. Let's tie these off. Okay. Perfect. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Perfect. All right, next step. All right, so we're gonna trim it so it's the same length, and then we're only gonna close the sides. Okay. Turn it right side up. And close the sides. And if you have excess zipper tape, trim that off and burn your zipper tape. And repeat on the other side. Now I'm folding my pocket up a little bit so that I have a nice clean edge when I go to finish things. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to fold this out. Let me trim this first. Just trim these corners so you can get a nice curve there on both sides, and then fold that out. And I'm just going to iron it. My iron's hot back here. Why not? Okay. All right, let's do a slip pocket. So put the short sides together, and we're going to stitch down each short edge, leaving this top open. I'm trimming these corners just so when I turn it, I can get a nice sharp corner, and then I'll turn it around and we'll iron it. This fabric that came in the box is very nice, but it frays like crazy. So that's what it is. So let me turn around and iron that, and then we'll continue. All right, so let's just base the top edge at 1/8 of an inch close. Then we're going to add our accent piece. Okay. You just have a nice accent piece. Take tape off one side. And we're going to lay that down the center. And you could mark the center of this if you choose to. I've done this about 1,000 times, so... Well, that might be an exaggeration. And fold that over so it's nice and even. Then we'll top stitch it. Just make sure you caught it on the back, because sometimes you don't, and I did. And if you don't, you could always do a second row of stitching. There's no harm in that whatsoever. And if you've got any excess on the sides, just trim that off. Just don't cut your fabric. Take your other lining piece. Find your center. And I'm going to use some of my sew tights. These things are so strong. Don't use them if you have a pacemaker. And measure down what she tells you to in the pattern. Let me see what that is. Yeah. And you're going to have to find the center of your pocket. And attach that nice and even. Okay. Then we're going to stitch around these 3 sides. Then I am going to create a pen pocket. And I usually measure over 2 inches from the edge. And I'm going to make a line with my air erasing pen. And sew up and down that, starting at the bottom. have a little pen pocket. I don't know about you, but I can never find a pen in my purse. Perfect. All right, let's make the key fob. Her signature key fob. We're just going to fold that wrong sides together. And stitch a 1/4 inch. And then we'll trim it. Okay. Grab a ruler. And from the folded edge, trim it to 1/2 inch. Perfect. Edit your key swivel clasp. And we're going to fold that over. And I'm going to stitch it. I just put 2 rows of stitches in there because my rivets would end up being right in the center of my stitching. And I don't want that. So that's what I decided to do. Okay. Key fob. That's all there is to that. All right, put your key fob wherever you'd like it. I already put it on because if I don't put it on immediately when I make it, I'll forget. So I just put it in between my lining and my upper lining. Your upper lining is the shorter edge, so you can see that the angle is down. And we're going to sew that together at the seam allowance in the pattern. On both sides. And then you're going to fold that up with the seam that you just created under the upper lining, and we're going to stitch on the upper lining. Top stitch. Going to repeat that on the other side. All right, so clip your right sides together of your lining, and we're going to start at this connection. This is what you want to make sure is actually lining up is your two upper lining seams. So we're actually going to start there with the seam allowance in the pattern. And then we're going to back stitch. And come back down. And the reason you do that is to make sure that you have maintained that connection there. And it's matching. Oh, goodness. Okay. Perfect. Now we are going to trim that, except for the top inch or so. I should have used my pinking shears, but oh well. That's okay. And then we are going to leave the bottom open for turning, so we don't have to struggle with that. Okay. Make sure your little interior zipper pocket is open. And I just put my key fob inside my pocket so it stays out of the way. And then we're going to put the zipper pocket in back. And we're going to put the lining. I'm going to lift you up so you can see. The lining zipper pocket in the back, on the back. So we're going to throw that in there. It's going to be a really snug fit because your lining is a little smaller, as it should be. Oops. This should be down. Don't do that, Barb. Your flap should be down. I had it up so I could look at it. All right. So let's match our centers. And I'm going to get my clips. And then we will match our sides. And the side seam is really not the seam. It's the point where your side meets. I'll show you in a second here. And for me, that is actually the seam on this side. Interesting. Okay. I am going to splay both those open. I love it when we leave the bottom open. It really makes it so much easier. Pretty good. Okay, next step. All right, so now we're gonna put our lining down inside. It all looks really good. And we are gonna clip the top here. I'm gonna use some of my big clips. It's actually pretty thick. So the benefit of these clips is it compresses it too. So I might leave these on for a minute. Now here, you're not going to be able to, in the back where your flap is, you're not going to be able to clip it. So you just want to make sure that it's nice and flat. And I'm going to do it here. And I'm going to start in the back. No, I'm going to go over to Thor. That's what he's made for, and he better behave. All right, let's do Thor here. And I'm going to start, I put my little table on just to make it easier on myself. And we're going to start in the back here. And hold my threads. It's pretty thick, he's doing fine. I talked to him. Okay, it's really thick over here. So I'm just gonna take my time and go slow. He should be able to go slow, you know? So far, so good. Oh, yeah. No idea. You guys. Look at this. Now, I gotta finish the inside, but look at that. It is so cute. Okay. Let me take the lining out. Open my zipper pocket. And we're going to pull the lining through the zipper pocket and finish it. Now, Thor shouldn't have any trouble because this is all interfaced. So, I'm staying over here. We'll see. But he shouldn't have any trouble with it. If it wasn't interfaced, I wouldn't do it. That's for sure. Okay. Okay. Let's give it a whirl. I'm holding my threads. Oh, I need to mark my 1/2 inch because I don't know what that is. I know what 1/4 inch is. Good. We'll just use that. How about that? going to decrease my stitch length just a little. Okay, here we go. Not an issue. Thank you, Thorn. Okay, let's box our corners. And then we'll finish our zipper pocket. And put our strap on. That came loose a little bit. Let me fix that. I must have cut the thread when I was trimming that. Okay. Now for this, it would probably be easier to take my table off, so let me take it off. Okay. It's always something, you know? You gotta mess around with stuff. There we go. Okay, let me find my pinking shears, and let's pink those. Let's pink this. There we go. Okay, let's do this other side. I'm kind of glad that I haven't had any more trouble because I haven't been able to get a hold of Hal or Al. It says he's really busy, so I'm glad it's working. All right, let's put that down in there and let's finish our zipper pocket. And that's why I ironed and folded these in. So now that to do this is a piece of cake. Okay. right. Let me clean that up before I stuff that down in there. Okay. Let's see how this fits, because you know we don't increase the seam allowance. She accounts for that in the pattern. Oh my. You guys, look how good that fits. It's perfect. Oh my goodness. That is one cute bag. Let's put the strap on. Okay guys, we're gonna put our strap on. So I have my slider on, and I'm gonna put two rivets on each side. So I'm gonna pull you down again, sorry. So I'm gonna come a little in and put one here and one here. I think it'll just make it stronger. It's absolutely not required. Then I'm gonna mark them here, just so I don't have to struggle with getting this on and off, because it's hard when you have so much thickness. Okay. The other thing I am using is my long rivets. There's a lot of thickness here, and I just prefer these long rivets when you have a lot of thickness. Still not required. I do sell these long rivets. They're called long double cap rivets on my website. Okay. Let me go press this. Now we want this, doesn't that look good? Now we want this to end up being on top. So it doesn't matter which side, but we're gonna come down. Yeah, we're gonna come down. Let me just make sure I'm doing it right. Down. From the top. Try not to twist anything. Oops. Yeah. And up through your slider. Both sides. Let's just make sure we did it right. Yeah, we did. So this ends up being on top. So you went down and back up. And then on this one, we're gonna come up from the bottom and put that together, just like that. Yep, that's exactly it. So just like that. So I went up from the bottom on this one. And then I'm gonna add two rivets. So here's my strap, and the slider is on top, which is what you want. And then I am gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna add a rivet there and a rivet there. Let's punch those. Mark where they go and punch and just mark my holes. I got stuff all over the place, and I'm making it very hard on myself. Unnecessarily so. There we go. Punch my holes. Okay. And I always put my post in the front, the most seen spot. That way I know I'm always getting them the same on every bag I make. So I always do it that way. I think it's a good practice myself. Put your little cap on the back. And I'll go press those. Be right back. All right, guys, here it is. This is a cute bag. Very cute bag. The Kaplan by Simply Classic. It's a brand new pattern. This was part of her subscription box for first quarter. You've got a unique slip pocket back here, kind of hidden. It's huge. It goes all the way to the bottom. You have a twist lock here, the little detail. You open it up, you've got a zipper pocket and a slip pocket and her standard key fob. And look how good that lining fits. It's perfect. An adjustable strap that is attached. It's not, there aren't swivel clasps. You could easily do swivel clasps. Look at that. Let me put it on for you. I'd call it a schmedium. Look at that. It is so cute. I absolutely love this faux vinyl too. Faux leather. Easy to get in and out of. The Kaplan. I would not change a thing. There's my sides. Thor performed beautifully. I mean, it's stunning. It is really a cute bag. Now, I used, my interfacing, I used Lux Fuse, which is very similar to Decaville Light. It just doesn't wrinkle as bad. The Kaplan by Simply Classic, new pattern. Go get the pattern. Let's get started.